Right, so let's try and pick out maybe just a few games at random that are just me. They're my collection. Hello and welcome back to Behind the Curve Gaming. In this episode, we're going to try and talk about the games that matter to me, the genres. We're going to try and get over what other people consider to be staples in their collections, games that everyone should have. We're going to try and condense it down to the games that I'm interested in, and maybe think about moving on to some of the games that I'm just not going to play. So quite an obvious genre to me that I am not interested in, I don't think I'm ever going to play, is the horror genre. So many people, at least from the YouTubers that I've watched in the past, they seem to collect the Resident Evils, the Silent Hills, or just the one-off horror games. And they all have wonderful things to say about them, but it's all good and well, the game design and the map and the levels and the enemies and the story behind it all. That's fantastic, that's brilliant. But I'm not going to sit down and play these games in my pursuit of trying out new games and trying to find those old games that I might have missed out on from genres that I know that I like. I need to get a bit of a voucher back. Now I have a small bundle of Resident Evil games. Here's one I made earlier. Now I've looked these up. Now we're not talking about the old ones. I've got Resident Evil 2 on Xbox One, obviously the remaster, whatever you want to call it, Biohazard Gold Edition, the Origins Collection, so I think that's like 1 in the prequel or something like that. I've got 5 on the PS4, I've got a practically very minty version of 6, Steelbook version with the slipcover and everything. I think I might pay like, it's 15 quid with that and Red Dead Redemption, possibly. They're both really nice condition. And then, as I say, this is the one that kicked it all off, the Steelbook PS2 Resident Evil 4. In decent condition, no slip or anything. I'm not sure if PS2 ones came with slip. I think they did, right? So yeah, I've got a pretty decent smattering across the years, whether it's remastered and re-releases or whether the actual native games on PS2 and PS3 there. And unfortunately, they're not worth a lot to just sell on, but some of them are actually worth a decent amount or more at least in voucher. So I'm very tempted to sell these for voucher. Not Resident Evil 6 obviously, because they'll just give me the base price, which is probably £1 trade-in. But I just want to take a quick minute and just show you at random a few of the games which are me. Games that I might have grown up loving or games that I've only just more recently come across. So yeah, let's just have a quick look at those. So for example, Pokemon Leaf Green and obviously the original Red, Blue and Yellow for the Game Boy Color and Advance. Excellent games. I love that they re-released them. It took me a while to go, wait, they did that? Cool, awesome. Spent hours playing it. Awesome, that's a bit of me, that is. Mega Drive, maybe not so, that's a bit more sentimental. But PC, I grew up in the late 90s playing PC games like Command and Conquer, Tiberian Sun, Red Alert. I think then it went on to Generals 0 Hours, the expansion pack, and after 3, and Red Alert 3, there were no other entries in the Command & Conquer series whatsoever. It died. There were none at all. And I certainly won't listen to anyone that says otherwise. Coming down to the PS1, again you can see the Command & Conquer, definitely. Toka Touring Cars, racing there. So moving over to my 360 shelf, I just want to pick out a few games. So for example, Dirt 3, excellent game, rally game, racing, absolutely love it, amazing. I remember playing a bit of Dead Rising when it came out. I really did enjoy it. It's such a really fun game and it's quite creative, and that you can create these different weapons and missions and that kind of thing. A game that I definitely like to revisit and get much further in than, 13, 14-year-old me that didn't know what he was doing. Fallout 3. I remember it must have been my GCSE years, summer holidays. I was at my nan's. I had access to like a big, I don't know how big it was, maybe 24, 26 inch CRT TV. I had access to, I took my 360 with me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put this in and try and get into it. And I did. I got into it in a big way, finished the story, excellent game. And I was like, wait, there's expansion packs? Play through some of those, excellent. So RPG, so I didn't say Command & Conquer, real-time strategy game, RTS, role-playing game, RPG, racing game. doing well so far. Now, a little less relevant for replaying, but the old Battlefield series. I got in at Battlefield 3 and then Battlefield 4. Excellent games, love playing those online. Absolutely fantastic online FPS first-person shooting games. Which will then bring me on to the likes of, I think I might have got rid of them because it's a bit, again, multiplayer games are a bit pointless to now own on the Xbox 360. But the first Black Ops, I got into COD Modern Warfare 2 initially, played that online, then Black Ops. I would just get up and just play these games just for hours in my summer holidays and things when I was a teenager. Absolutely loved them. It was all right. Another RPG. That again, I had to revisit when I was a teenager because at first I was like, this is boring, this is dull, but I revisited Oblivion. Really got into that before I got into Fallout 3. Fantastic game. Very happy that they remastered it recently, although apparently it's not particularly well optimized. Something a little bit more occasional, but again, I really do like another genre, so a sports title, Fight Night Champion. I think it might have been Fight Night Round 3 that I played quite a lot of. I think it is available to play on the Xbox Store. I think it's probably included in the past. I think it's an old EA game. Great games. I guess is this kind of a shooter or an RPG? Far Cry 3. Got into that, played all the way through, did the 2 different endings. Excellent, fantastic game. Absolutely love that, going around, gaining territories, taking out camps, playing through that story. What a great story, that was amazing. Absolutely unhinged. Going down, the Halos. I played the Halos, I played Halo 3. I did play through Reach, to be fair. I think I played online a bit of that, same with 3. I played through the Reach story and I thought it was fantastic, and it was quite a fresh take in that nobody survived, right? Spoilers, but it's probably a 15-year-old game right now. I remember the last mission. And it just says survive, and inevitably you will die. It's as simple as that. And I just thought that was just so new, and it makes it hit home harder. But yeah, excellent. MotoGP, I've recently picked up MotoGP 07 and started playing that. Really enjoying that for what it is. The controls are always quite difficult when it comes to bike racing games because you either have a joint braking button or you have a separated front and rear braking buttons, and it ends up being quite difficult. Even though the Xbox 360 and its layout, not that I've got on to hand, is one of the best ever, and in my eyes superior to the PlayStation version. Saints Row 2, and in the same vein of Grand Theft Auto 4, got into it, played through it. I think I completed Saints Row 2, or at least completed as much as the story. An excellent game, so fun. I did play that for a fair few hours recently again, I think, well, start of the year. Fantastic game, just open world sandbox, and you can do so much fun stuff in that, where Grand Theft Auto at the time was going a little bit more serious, a little bit more realistic and grounded. Saints Row 2 just went, nah, we're gonna go old school, big, loud, boom. Loved it. I have got, for what they're worth, on the PC CD-ROMs, because I did build a retro PC that still has a disk drive, and as long as your games don't need online activation, you can put them in, you can install them, and you can play them. Yes, there are much more modern ways to play them on modern hardware. You can just download the game. It's probably all available on EA Play. But back in the day, Red Alert 2 or Yuri's Revenge, let me know if you played that one. Absolutely cracking game. Generals, and then General Zero Hour. Remember DLC was actual physical game? back then, those are the days, am I right? Because I got so into Fallout 3 the next year when New Vegas came out, you better believe I got straight into that one, played that through. I can't remember if I did all 3 endings. I went for a house initially, the house ending. Really excited to see in season 2 of the Fallout TV show, that'll be on Amazon Prime, how they go or where they go with the story. This is obviously on the Xbox because you can still just whack these straight in the Xbox and now just play because they're backwards compatible, which is really nice. Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 2, both excellent games in their own right. I played a little bit online. That was back in the day when I had a PS2 and I had to run an Ethernet cable, and that wasn't, I wasn't allowed to just keep running an Ethernet cable across half the house. So that was just a quick look at some of the games and genres that I'm personally interested in, because the main point of this is that this is my collection, and if you have your collection, that is your collection. You don't need to listen to anyone else telling you must have these games, you must buy these games must be in your collection. If you're a collector, you must have these games. You don't need that sort of gatekeeping in your life. Just buy what you want, play what you want, own what you want. I don't care if they're digital, I like these old school physical games where you could put them in and just play the game. You have to put them in and then it starts installing the entire game, and then there's updates after that. And it could be 2 hours later. God forbid you have bad internet speed. Like, come on. But yes, for me, when I just started collecting some games, I was watching other people just saying, you must own the Resident Evil series, PS1 and PS2, this kind of thing, and all the Silent Hills are great games. I hope they're going to get remastered. And it's just started in on that, but I'm never going to sit down and play them. So I have to say to myself, and I guess this is everyone, maybe other people a bit more clear cut in what they like, and they're not so easily led maybe. But sometimes I can watch a lot of someone else's content and go, I really want that as well. I want that for myself. Sometimes you have to take a step back and just go, you know what? Those aren't the games that I'm interested in. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try them. But when it comes to horror and jump scares and gore and body gore and like the Saw games, for example, yeah, they might be future investments or something, or they might be well remembered, but I'm never going to sit down and play them. So what's the point of me having them? I'm not going for, like, for example, a full 360 collection. I'm not going for a full set of anything, like maybe an IP, but I'm not going to. So I'm just coming to the point where I'm like, right, I'm not going to get rid of everything, obviously. There's still so many games there that I could just take out and just say, excellent game, play this, brilliant. I'm really looking forward to maybe one day getting in a headspace to play this game and getting into it. But for now, I'm not going to get in those types of games. And I just want to put it out there that play the games that you want to play. These are the games that I want to play. Some people might say, oh, it's a crap game, why are you playing that? Play something different, play this. And yeah, by all means, take recommendations and opinions from other people, but form your own opinion. I fell into a little bit of a hole of collect this stuff, and I went, oh yeah, you know what, I'm going to put that on my list because I want to collect that stuff. And I don't really, because these games are meant to be played. They're not just going to be here sat collecting dust. They obviously are, practically, but I do want to play them. So yeah, that's just a quick video today. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe as always. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.